Hey everyone, we're back here. It's Sampler Wednesdays, and today we have Cafe Noir. This is an Imperial Coffee Porter from, Tap It Brewing Company. They're in San Luis Obispo in California. This is a 9.3% alcohol beer, and I think this was made in 2014. It's 2019 now, so this should be an interesting beer for us to try tonight.
This beer is older than a lot of our friends' kids.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Damn.
Right.
We'll start using that one because it's not that old, but like it's still old. Like,
Coffee porter
couple
infused
friends
with
kids,
cold brew
yeah.
coffee.
I mean,
How about that?
Oh, yeah, most.
Oh yeah,
Most-
infused with cold brew coffee.
I mean,
yeah.
well, most
Ooh.
beers are not infused with cold brew. Most of them are like either like kind of
really dark
well,
malted barley, like the
well, no.
specialty malt that
Well,
will
no.
give it a coffee flavor.
well that or when you do
But
like
you
a
typically
coffee.
just add coffee.
When you do a coffee beer, yeah, you just typically add like your coffee beans to it, like almost like you're dry hopping something, you know. And you could get it that way, or you could add it during your brewing process, and you can kind of basically, essentially, brew coffee and beer at the same time. But cold brew, that's interesting.
I can
I
see through
think that
this
would
one.
give like a
This
more
one's way lighter.
sure shock of coffee is
Looking
straight
at it.
just adding cold brew coffee to it.
let's go in for the taste, guys.
Well, what's that whole adage of you only taste something technically
Oh, it's
twice?
definitely in the taste. That's totally in the taste.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's good.
That's just a fruity cold brew. With alcohol.
Oh yeah,
Really?
it tastes like coffee.
Yeah.
Now for me, I get that. It's barrel aged, like a fruity almost barrel aged.
Oh no, it tastes like a lot of coffee.
Aftertaste.
The guy that doesn't like coffee.
Look on the aftertaste.
I think that's why.
It's
'cause I
very
don't drink
coffee dominant.
So that's why I tasted a lot more than probably you guys.
Because it starts fruity and then ends up being very like a milkier cold brew.
Definitely fruity. I guess let's go into a question here. If you were to change something about this beer, what would you change? Or what would you add, I guess? Or what would you subtract, maybe?
I got one. I can start this. I would actually want to ask the brewers which coffee beans they use, or like what was their idea on the coffee. Because I would personally, because I drink a lot of coffee and I enjoy different types of coffee, I'd want to push the coffee harder.
I was going to say.
I agree.
I mean, this beer is pretty fruity in itself, and in the back end is very coffee-ish. I'd want to push the coffee harder, just because, especially if you have the name Imperial Coffee. This is not coffee forward. I would want to make it as coffee forward as you possibly could. That is a balanced flavor overall. So whatever beans that we could acquire, I would definitely go that way.
Like brew with it. Like put it in the boil.
Yeah.
Let it sit in the barrel there for a little while.
So you're saying the cold brew didn't do enough?
Not for me.
Yeah, I agree.
More.
And it could be an age thing too, though.
So
The fact that we let it sit for 5 years
so
in the bottle.
what would your thing be?
Almost. Well, I guess the barrel age is nice in there because I think with the touch of the Pinot, it does kind of get some of those great.
Right.
Not necessarily great, but like just that kind of fruity and like a lightness,
Yeah.
but with a still, rough edge. But yeah, I mean, definitely the coffee. Like if you're gonna call it Cafe Noir,
You got it.
and then maybe that's on us for letting it sit so long. But
Right.
For sure.
I feel like a lot of these Tap-Its that you find, you will see they were bottled a couple years back,
Right.
and that's kind of the thing. Is like, all right, we're gonna put out these crazy. Maybe they were ahead of their time, but they're just not being snatched up.
Right.
Mm.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think because like you can taste you can kind of taste that it was bottled, or not bottled, fermented, whatever, in the Pinot Noir.
Yes.
So like, and then like you kind of have a sense of the coffee, but yeah, so like whether or not it's an issue of time or them not, like, I don't know, making it strong enough coffee, like I don't know, we don't know, but yeah, I agree. Having like a stronger coffee flavor
Yeah.
would.
Just make it that much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for myself, I like the fact that it's a porter. I kind of would want to kind of up the grade to make it a stout. But overall, I think what I would really, really, really want to do is change the coffee bean itself, kind of like you mentioned.
Okay.
And change it. I know this is probably weird because I don't drink coffee, but I think just because of the taste, I would want to do like one of those like vanilla coffee bean tasting ones, like the one that we got from like
Winco?
Yeah, maybe Winco or so. We went to Winco or like Smart and Final or somewhere.
Yeah.
And they had like that vanilla coffee bean.
Yeah.
I think something like that would be a little bit better. I mean, that's just because I guess I don't, I don't drink coffee.
Hey.
So like for me, I'd want like the really heightened coffee sense, but I also want that vanilla-y blend to like balance it out. And I think that would make this more Cafe Noir for me than what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying the vanilla and the fruit too, like getting it. Okay. No, that makes sense.
It's kind of like that mixture of, because
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I like the Pinot Barrel. Like I think that's a great
works,
addition
for sure.
And
works.
I mean, the fact that it's a porter, it's not a stout. Like when you think about it that way, and you go, okay, it's a 9-point-something%.
Pretty heavy
And
porter.
it's a pretty heavy imperial porter. So you're up there. It's just like I think the coffee was a little different, and I mean, maybe that's the cold brew that they did, and like we said, maybe just changing it from cold brew to steeping it or brewing it with the beer. I mean, that might be the biggest difference, in my opinion. But then again, it could be this is from 5 years ago, and could have been completely different in 2014 than it is now.
That is very true.
Like,
Or 2015.
Yeah, or even 2015. So
Very true.
I mean, like Bob Marr mentioned, it could be a completely different beer at that time. So.
Yeah.
So now that we've had this beer and really broke it down, what would you guys rate this beer? Charles?
I go with a 3. I'm gonna recommend it to a friend. I think it's unique enough to be like, yo, this is a pretty cool porter. It's not quite a stout. You can drink it. It's light. And it's aged in a Pinot barrel, so it's pretty unique. So yeah, I'd be at a 3. I'd recommend it to a friend. I don't know if I'd like buy this at a bar, especially if I saw some of the other stuff that like we've kind of had tonight.
Yeah.
So it'd be pretty hard to pass up, some stouts and IPAs that were aged in a little bit more unique barrels than this. But not to say it was bad. So yeah, I'd recommend it to a friend.
It's fair. Common.
I would give it a 4. So it was good. Like I liked it, but also because like obviously, getting something at a bar, it would be pretty fresh. So like this,
Yes.
like I like this, and it's 5 years old. So I'd be like very interested to see what it tastes like,
Very
fresh,
true.
like just like straight from the tap.
Yep.
So yeah,
That'd be good.
I'm gonna have to go 2.
Ooh.
It's just it's a great beer, definitely unique. Never really had anything quite like that. The fact that it is a porter,
Doesn't hit
but
everything.
it hits it harder than a porter was. Like it should bump that up on my scale. But the fact that it says Cafe Noir, they talk about cold brew. Maybe it is our fault for waiting so long, but it just great beer, but doesn't hit that style.
yeah.
What about you, Jeff?
I think for me, it's hard. I want to be at the 4.
Okay.
I want to buy at the bar, but I would be curious. What would it be like when it's fresh from a tap?
That's why I would get it at a bar. I think.
Like, I would say, you know what? I would do 3. I would recommend it to a friend. Because I'm putting it at face value of the 2014 bottle. It's not all
Of
there
what it is right now.
right now. But if we went to slow tomorrow,
And they had it on tap.
I'm willing to bet I would change my vote in a heartbeat.
they have it on tap. It's a kind of
It's
different story.
It's probably a totally different
and
beer.
it's a
Yeah.
2000,
You know, like,
19
That's
beer.
kind of what I'm counting on.
It's part of the aging
Oh, they
is
tweaked the recipe within 5 years too.
I mean,
Not that there's much I would
it's-
tweak to it, but
it's not
maybe
even
they
that they
changed the coffee
tweaked
bean.
it, but it's like maybe they changed the coffee. Maybe they
yeah,
added more-
yeah.
Maybe it's a darker, maybe more sweeter,
We don't
barrel.
know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So we're saying Meatus in slow in 2019.